What's up, everybody? Today we're going to talk about crossing the Dolores River. We will show you where it's located. We will show you a couple different lines to take to get across the river, and we'll also show you the USGS website to check the CFS level before you go and head out there. Google Maps here real quick. We can see the Colorado-Utah border right down the middle there. And typically this route is used to connect Grand Junction down to the Dewey Bridge area down by Moab. So if we zoom in a bit here, basically you can see that from Grand Junction you'll go up on top of the Colorado National Monument and you will hit Glade Park. And then from there, you will cut across and come over here. And then right before you hit the Dewey Bridge area, which is that Highway 128, you'll go down here. So if we zoom in a little bit more, you can see Colorado River, Dewey Bridge is right here, coming down 128 off of I-70 towards Moab. And right over here is the Dolores River. And right here is our river crossing. So if we zoom in a little bit more, you can see that we are on the Dolores River Triangle Road. And that's the section we're going to be talking about today. And you can actually see from the top view here, there's a little island here. And when we went, the island was actually, the water level was so low that the island you could actually get out and walk on. And so as opposed to what the road shows here where you cut across. And so let's get this set up here. I'll try to get my marker set up. And the first line we're going to draw here, we'll use yellow. And that's going to be the shallower line for the crossing. And basically what you're going to want to do is come up to this island, making a big sweeping turn and cross, and then come up from downstream. There's a little shelf there, and you'll have this big sweeping turn with kind of the apex of your turn being on the island. And then for the shallow line is represented by this red line here, where you're almost doing a beeline, not quite, because it gets even deeper the further you go upstream there. But this should give you some idea of how much deeper it gets just between these two lines. So let's take a look at these two videos and kind of dissect the depths on the two different lines we have. So that video was filmed starting at the island and crossing the bulk of the river. Getting out to the island was pretty insignificant at that point in time. Alright, so at this point in time, the river level is running at 80 CFS, which is cubic feet per second. We'll show you a little later in the video here how to check and see what the water level is for when you're looking at going. But basically, it looks like the water was about halfway up my 33-inch tall tires, which gives us an estimated water depth of somewhere between 12 and 15 inches. So let's go ahead and take a look at this red line real quick and see the deeper route. As you can see there, moving upstream just a handful of feet has now got it quite a bit deeper. We pause this video here and we can see that the water is just coming over my bumper, just barely, and my bumper ride height measures out right at 35 inches. So that's almost a full 2 feet deeper than the first yellow line that we showed you how to take. Here, you heard me mention that We were at 80 CFS, that's cubic feet per second, as far as the water level goes. Now, most boaters will be very familiar with this term and how to find it, but if you're an off-roader who is not familiar with that, we're going to show you real quick here. I will have this linked down in the description below, but we'll go to the USGS's website here, and they keep water levels and records for a lot of different places throughout the US, and this happens to be the closest probe to where our river crossing is. This is upstream a couple miles, but there's no significant streams or anything that flows into the Dolores River between this gauge and our crossing. So this is going to be very accurate for how much water is flowing through there right now. You can just type in the date range if you're curious, if you've done this and wanted to see what it was at when you crossed previously. We did our crossing here on December 18th, and we were at about 1 p.m. So if I scroll down here and you slide across, this is the flow throughout the day, and we come over here to 1 p.m. You can see that it is right about 80 CFS, that's cubic feet per second, and that's going to give you a really good indication kind of how much water is flowing through there, especially in relation to this video. Now, if you scroll down here, you will also be able to change things like the gauge height. Now, guys, this gauge is upstream at a spot where it's a little more concentrated. So if you look at the gauge height, it's going to tell you that it's almost 7 feet deep there. But just keep in mind that gauge, the river's about 3 times wider where we cross the river than where this gauge is. So the gauge height is not going to be the best indication. CFS is going to be a really good indication of how much water is flowing through there when you're looking at going. Where the gauge is at in relation to where our crossing is, which is right in this area here. But if we come up here and change it back to the discharge here, scroll up top and just click the last year and then scroll back down, guys, you can see that this river can peak at over 1,000 CFS, which is going to be crazy high water levels. That's obviously an extreme scenario there, but definitely will not be driving across that anywhere close to that. Even over on some of these other peaks, you'll see more in the 500 range, which is still an awful lot. But throughout the year, you're going to be anywhere between I would say the average is about 130, somewhere in there, with a low all the way down to 60. So guys, just make sure you check that before you go, and hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you liked it, please show us by giving us a like, subscribe, and comment down below if you'd like to see us make some more videos about some random off-road stuff. Thanks.